Lowe's 247 customer Watkins. This is a detail video for this new kitchen project. So there's a few things on this kitchen that are normal and the same, and there's a few things that are going to be a little bit different than what we typically get into. First thing I want you to notice is when you don't do good measuring, this is what happens. You have electrical outlets and stuff that hang out of tile, and you definitely want to fix that. But there's another part here too. These are new floors. And because they're new floors, we are not planning on taking them up or changing them. So we have a definite footprint that must be maintained with our layout of these cabinets. And because of that, the position of the stove, position of the microwave, position of the dishwasher, all the appliances need to be real close, if not exactly where they were before. That being said, let me just show you a room. Back patio door right here. Sink wall with a window above. There is molding on both sides of the window. Corner right here, stove and microwave. Got the back door into the garage here. This corner here with a lean-in pantry is something we've talked about as well today. This is kind of unique. That's only 25 inches deep back in there behind that. And this is exactly 36 inches wide. So the footprint that's in the ceiling footprint, as well as the footprint that's in the floor, could be concealed by a full freestanding 93-inch tall, 36-inch pantry. So I told the customer if you wanted to do a design that actually had this cabinet up here pulled forward like we have in the drawing now, and then put this as a 36-inch, 93-inch tall pantry with an 1.5 to 2 inch filler here on the left. Got to make sure, see we have a back door, panel moldings, all this. Got to make sure we have at least a couple of inches there for all them doors and stuff to work. But a full height UT 36, 24, 93 with like 4 roll-out trays in the bottom and 3 shelves in the top would be a ton more storage than what this lean-in pantry is. Now, we don't do demo this way. Lowe's doesn't do any kind of removal of sheetrock or anything. We generally work with what's just here. But in this case, we've done this home a few times. That has been a modification that other customers have done. And so that is something that if he goes inside and checks to see if he has any electrical or any kind of plumbing in the wall, that little return wall probably is not a problem. He needs to make that decision on his own, though. This is not something that Lowe's is going to be able to advise him on. Now, over here on this side, you've got a specific length wall. That wall right there, if I'm looking, is actually 56 7/8. It's not exactly 57, the short point up here at the top, 56 7/8. In your design, you had the cabinets coming out to an edge of a door. There's no door here. This is a headerless opening. This is a pass-through opening. So literally, if the cabinets go up here, there's not going to be any room if you have any kind of crown return or whatever. But if you're wanting to stick with what's here now, there's a 39-inch space for the fridge now, and there's a 15-inch cabinet here, and there's about 3 inches of wall right there. So if we're going to stick with the footprint, that's what I would recommend we go back to, especially since this is a big fridge. This is 70.5 inches to the top of the fridge door, so 72 to the bottom of your cabinet is definitely recommended for this one. And again, that return wall back there is 25 inches deep. So if you look at doing a 24-inch deep cabinet above this and an end panel, and that becomes maybe a pantry, then this would still line up. The place in the ceiling that looks bad would be covered by the new molding that would go up. Now, that's the refrigerator side. Let's go over here and talk about the bar area. This is converted, I think, laundry lean-in for this. So basically, on your bar area, you have a soffit. If you look in here, this is 83.5 inches to the bottom of this. So a little shorter, but notice this is standard overlay cabinets that are here. They drop these purposely to put a small blocking up above that, probably to hide the unevenness of the ceiling. So this is not going to be at 54 inches. It's probably around 52.5, 53 inches to have that room. Also, they have a wine bottle lattice here and also a saddle for the glasses. There are 2 different kinds of wine bottle lattice that you can get. There's the X type lattice, which is a more modern type, and then there's this one here. This one comes in a 30, which is what's here in the middle, with a 15 on the left and a 15 on the right. Now these doors open up with a 15.5 inch space, so they should clear with a full overlay, just like this does with a standard overlay. Down here on the bottom, 2 base 30s. Again, about a 3/8 filler on the left, about a 1/4 inch filler on the right. 60 and 5/8 is all we have for the spacing on this. And of course, just 2 base 30s on the bottom to make that a completed space. Now, come back over here. Let's look at the sink wall. and the stove wall. So on the stove wall here, this is a 15-inch cabinet, 15-inch base cabinet. They've got the hinge on this wrong. It needed to bend to the right so it doesn't open against this. But one of the things we talked about today was a voided corner section versus a base easy reach. This is exactly 36 inches to the side of the dishwasher here. So that is a 12-inch space. But for a full overlay door, that would be a full 12. This would have to end up folding in this direction. Well, this is 40 inches. This is 40 inches to the edge of the stove, which is almost 4 inches of wasted space with a 36-inch corner. That could only be a dishwasher end panel with a 6-inch filler on the front of it to make up that difference if this was a base easy reach, because we have to maintain the floor footprint. Now, that being said, if we were to go to a voided corner, this would be a 3x3, 27x27 architecture voided corner. Make this a tray base 9 with a right-hand hinge pattern to open back toward the corner. This tray base then is a tall door that you could put pizza pans and tall cookie sheets, stuff like that doesn't really fit well anywhere else. On this side, then this could be a drawer base 3. This would be a 3-drawer base. That would leave about a 4-inch fill to the inside here, about a 3-inch fill to the inside here, and would fit our footprint perfectly, more or less. It would help with the budget too, because we're just going to put a 2x4 on the wall for the countertop to sit on, which is quite a bit of savings between the two different ways that they're laid out. Now, talk to them. What's here now is actually a blind corner cabinet pulled to 40 inches, but this particular one is a standard overlay. Do you see how much room you have here, right? So if this is a full overlay, this cabinet would not work. This would not work because it would not pass the fronts of these doors and these dishwashers. So be very careful with how you handle this corner. The voided corner, I think, would be a much better choice for that. Now over here, sink base 36, no problem, 24 dishwasher. But we definitely have more room on this wall. If you take a look here, this is, I think, a 24-inch cabinet. So if we were to make this a 21-inch cabinet and add a BEC 24, base end corner, that's the 22-degree cabinet door and the other 22-degree cabinet door, they're worried about the egress here between the actual table and the end of the cabinet. So when you start looking at this being a double angle cabinet, maybe coming in, I told you there has to be about 12.5 inches minimum of margin here because of these triples. That can be covered with tile with no problem. It's an old phone jack. But from the actual point on the door trim to 12.5 inches is the minimum we have to leave for this. But this could be a base end corner. The upper cabinet up here could actually be a wall in angle, and this cabinet becomes a double door cabinet. So there's several things we can do to make changes. Measurements that he took before were dead on. That's a 40-inch window. The return under here was really close, the same thing. So these are all basically going to be standards with no issues as far as making those changes, but we want to look at that space requirement there. Now let's talk about the island last. In this design, they're wanting to have the open piece from the end. They're wanting to have a center piece here open from this side, like this one was, and also have the end here open from this end. At this point, this is a piece of furniture that sits here. There is no electrical here. There's nothing here for an island that would be a permanently fitted island. Now in this design, if you take a look, this has a toe kick notch on all 4 sides. So that's an 18-inch pedestal sitting underneath about a 27-inch countertop width, which is going to be a bit tippy. If we have to secure this to the floor, as far as putting 2x4s and stuff down, there is an actual electrical requirement that this has power in this island. Now, one of the choices we talked about today was maybe taking and doing a floating island, which is felt on the bottoms of the cabinets, and then wrapping that island with OG pilaster mold to create like a base underneath it. Well, that's basically how this other island was made. If you look right there, it has base underneath it. So they're used to this layout of this island this way. Making it with this recessed toe kick would be a bit tippy, and then also it would definitely have to be screwed to the floor so we wouldn't have any problems, and then they would have to pull power to it to do that. Okay, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you have any questions about this one, feel free to give me a call at 423-650-1051. Have a good evening.